Alright, video. Yeah, probably like 3 videos worth. So let's just start with Rizzle Dizzle. Rizzle me this. Who's the biggest idiot on the internet? Yeah. Anyway, where to even begin? Okay, this whole thing about sexism and racism and isms in general. Yeah, okay, there's reason why people get confused. Okay, they can't separate the color of somebody's skin from the culture they grew up in. They can't tell the difference between this whole judge a man based on the content of his character, not the color of his skin. I mean, it's really simple. That's right, you can judge people based on their character. You know, if some asshole thinks he can walk around in America and not even speak any language that's decipherable, yeah, you could say that's an asshole. You could call culture shit, okay? Islamic culture is shit, okay? Yeah, Judaism is a gutter religion. Yeah, I'm all for that shit. Yeah, let's call shit shit. And let's separate it from, you know, the other crap. So let's just acknowledge, I mean, biologically, right? Men and women are different. You can see it in all the primate species. You see the games they have to play. They're in a completely different game. The female animals are playing a completely different game than the male animals are playing. They're required to do a different thing. Difference between bonobos and chimpanzees is, yeah, the males all leave in chimpanzees, you know, to go for another tribe, and the females all leave for bonobos, right? So it's just this kind of strange differences, but these role plays that are basically physically dynamic. And we know that men do the harem thing. That's their preference. You know, it's not like they can't love a woman. They just like to love more than one. And these are just biological facts, and their obsession is deep. Okay, I mean, you know, as a male, I mean, it's from personal experience. Yeah, I mean, what? 85% of my conscious contemplations between the age of 5 and 54 were, you know, porn images of some kind. I mean, more aesthetic, I'd say. You know, I'm not that gutter. But we know these things. These are just facts. We know that, yeah, if the porn industry had to depend on women, you know, it'd be ranked somewhere below, like, shoes made out of kitty litter, you know, in terms of sales. So let's just accept this reality. But no, these idiots are, there's petty idiots. And why are they so petty? What is it that, who has done something to them? Why do they have some right to defend something so stupid? I mean, what personal thing are they riding on? It must be some kind of personal thing, because it doesn't make any sense. Maybe they all are, deep inside their little brains, takers, rapists. I mean, yeah, maybe they would, and they feel guilty about that, and then to get rid of the guilt, they say, let's try to make it not a crime to, you know, steal a drunk girl's goodies. I mean, what else? What else am I going to blame but your own psychology? Because there's nothing rational about this aggressive denial of reality. And it's an aggressive denial of reality. So anyway, so this chick, whatever, I'm sorry, nerd. She has nerd written right on her shirt. So, you know, people make all these cracks and you're just like, she has nerd written on her shirt, for fuck's sake. She's allowed to be a nerd. Anyway, so she's just making this point that she realized some things about racism by becoming a feminist. You know, by communicating with other feminists, blah, 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 she was enlightened that, yes, there's this institutional attitude that she might have also, and that she might be part of the problem, not part of the solution, in being flaccid in her response to the problem, or something like that. Yeah, to the reality. And so, let's play some of this.
We talk next about race relations.
Well, I do see certain parallels, you know, like, man, I want to tap that sexy ass. You know, that's how what the women get, or like black men get.
Okay, so he just said the worst that women get is I want to tap that sexy ass. They don't get raped, and they don't get murdered in higher numbers than, even the blacks get tapped by the cops. I mean, why are you denying that reality? Why deny this reality? I mean, it sort of comes home for me. I mean, I am in New Jersey, and you see all this shit. But I mean, a famous serial killer. Well, they're all relatively famous, right? He was for a while anyway. He dumped one of his bodies in a place I used to go fishing as a kid. And, that just sits in my brain. Yeah, perfectly good, tappable 17-year-old ass. Laying dead and naked in a cement pool at a reservoir. Where I used to walk all the time as a kid. A place I used to go that was safe and all that kind of shit. And, so I'm just saying, but, you don't need to get, I mean, that didn't do anything in terms of changing my mind or making me more aware. I mean, yes, perfectly tappable asses in this town, this area, were killed. Why? What was their crime? Oh, that's right. They were a woman who had a job, and they went to the store after work and got murdered for it. And we're just going to pretend that's not a liability for women, that they really can't afford to be alone at night, because they might get their asses tapped in this more significant way that these assholes, these glib motherfucking bastards, for no good reason that one can decipher, have some petty need to deny the reality that this is a real part of our culture. A real part of our culture is psychotic males who have a real problem dealing with women's rejection. It's a real thing, like cops who pull their gun out and shoot too quick because they somehow don't know it's part of the contract they signed that they're serving the citizenry and they're not shooting the citizens. That's not their obligation. Their obligation is maybe to take one now and then, to take a bullet for the cause now and then. That's the contract they sign. Yeah, we'll get to contracts again later when I get to the feminist crap. I mean, on my video. So he does it again here, I think. I think he does the same kind of, let's just whitewash the fact that women are raped brutally, that women are beaten brutally, that women are murdered brutally, and pretend that they're just making it up, right? As Thunderfoot says, I mean, if a woman doesn't go to the cops, she wasn't raped. This is what atheists think. This is what they do with their brains. In this community, anyway. And we know it's just this community, but I'm just saying. I mean, I'm sorry, you all look like fucking idiotic retards to me.
Sounds crazy, but they usually have a high
forehead
width to face length ratio that gives it a slightly concave.
Yeah, sure they do.
Complete pig-like. Then there's things like demanding full attention and respect.
Okay, I got the cop thing. Fuck that. Let's get back to the, let's see, maybe it's this one.
Lily White bitch can talk about the plight of women, that kind of system. Is that what you're talking about right now?
We know it's not all white.
Whatever. We know it's not all white people. Yeah, we know it's not all men, and that's the truth of it. And yeah, but it's a real problem. And if you just sit there and don't do anything, don't take it seriously, don't even acknowledge it exists, well, then you have zero chance of doing anything constructive to help the situation. I mean, really, and all these problems. Look, I mean, he defended the blacks, having the riots, like rioting's going to burn down your own town, so you have to go to Honky Town to buy your shit, and they're going to charge you 5 times as much. So yeah, that's going to work out really good. Burn down your local infrastructure. Now, if you're going to riot, migrate it to someplace that's going to matter. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject, and like I said, there's no point in rioting in defense of a culture that can go nowhere. So yeah, until we fix this cultural problem, you know, till you have a culture that demands a little bit more from its citizens, yeah, then you're not going to have much of a civilization, and it's all going to go down the toilet. So, yeah, doom is all over, written all over this mess. Just more reason to you know, realize that there's nothing to invest in here on planet Earth. You're all going down because you can't deal with anything rationally, or sensibly, or logically, or in any other, you know, yeah, you're just fucked in the head. So anyway, so here, these are the comments on the feminism video. So, you know, not too many of them, but let's just deal with them. So some guy named Jim, damn son, didn't know you were a blue pill. So I guess blue pill means you want to stay in the matrix, so it's all the big lie. You know, women don't get raped, women aren't the weaker sex, women don't get pregnant, men get pregnant. Yeah, men get, yeah, and women just want cock. You know, that's women just after your cock. Is that what you believe, Jim? Jim, nobody. And then what is this shit? What is that? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. So fuck, you can both go fuck yourselves. I mean, I'm just so sick of shit for brains. Arrow, 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 slash, political slash. What does that mean? Oh, fuck you. Banned. And goodbye to you, Jim. Fuck off. Stupid bastards. Too stupid. Alright, anyway. So I've another guy with no icon. Can't take your stance on feminism seriously. Men are cheating the system. I don't know what that means. Divorce courts, alimony, general criminal courts, all in favor of women. You know what? The contracts you sign are in favor of women. That's the whole point, right? Women get pregnant. You're still not figuring that part out. I mean, if I had to, you know, do that baby carrying thing, you'd have to give me $1 million right up front anyway. But, you know, let's just, you know, you won't concede that point. So, you know, who forces you to sign a contract? All right, you know the terms of the contract. You know that it's going to be community property and that you're going to have to pay for the kids if you get divorced. That's the contract. Why should single men who don't have kids have to pay for your fucking kids? You don't see how your duplicity and crookery is obscene? It's bad enough that even when it works out and you stay married, that society, the single people, have to be built to pay for your kids' education. That's already an upset, and your kids' fucking health care and all kinds of other shit. Why should they have to pay for your stupid, idiotic choice to have a pet? And that's how you're considering it, right? Pretty much. But certainly if you sign a contract with a woman, all right, you got to meet the terms of the contract. And you know, who forced you into the contract? Nobody. You were. That's a straight up deal. There's no rape there, fucker. You agreed to the terms, asshole. The fact that it is becoming apparent that sexual abuse is 47% women. So right there, spousal abuse is 47% women. So what? I'm supposed to take this seriously? Really, you're telling me I'm supposed to take somebody who says 47% of the pain inflicted in spousal aggression circumstances is imposed on men. They are physically damaged to the same extent. 47% of the physical damage is imposed on men. Because what? She threw a dinner plate at you? Combined with men being 10 times more or less likely to report it. Report what? I mean, bullshit all over the place. I mean, you can't get more bullshit. Now, the only reason why I want to leave this comment up is that some guy pointed out all these real statistics. You know, 9%, you know, this guy even says, the same sexual use of children also looking as if women are percentage-wise the bigger sinner. Women are the bigger sinner in pedophilia. That's this moron's theory. Where, you know, statistically it's 9% female only. And we know that those predators are often doing it for money. So let's understand that. They're not doing it because they're getting off on it. I mean, a large percentage of that 9% is not women who are exploiting children for their own gratification. They're doing it because they're going to get paid for doing it. So let's understand that. So, yeah, I mean, the statistics are just insanely the opposite. You know, just insane. So then 30% of women are murdered by men, and 6% of the males are killed, and 6%. That 6% is like probably male homosexual against male homosexual. So men killing men. But very few women kill their husbands or mates, and like I said, very few kill single men. But whatever. But again, it's just this denial of, we all know that jeopardy doesn't exist because I, as a male, am living in the freedom I have. And I know it exists. I mean, you can't, it's undeniable. Every day I walk out and I don't think about, oh, there's going to be a woman that might do me some violence in the woods. So then this Jerry Perry guy, I doubt that feminism has any real intention to solve these problems. Oh, well, I guess first just identifying them seems to offend the motherfuck out of you weasels. You dickless fucking weasels. Can't even take it when somebody's talking about it. Right? And you don't think talking about it is part of finding solutions? Oh, gee. Usually it's something they use to bash men in the head with. Well, I don't think that gets that has anything to do with it. And bash them in the head for what? Oh, because they're scaring the shit out of them. Oh, okay. It makes society feel guilty and legitimate discrimination against men. Legitimate. I guess he meant illegitimate. Oh no, legitimized discrimination against men. Okay, and what kind of discrimination is that? What is that? Could you please detail for me some of this discrimination against men? I don't think feminism cares so much about violence against women. Well, just because you say so? Oh, gee. How informative. The main priority is to take power from men. Well, what power is that? Uneven power, you mean? To take away their animalistic rights to dominate and control? To beat the shit out of? Oh, man. Not to help women. If they truly cared about it, they wouldn't come up with wacky theories. And wacky theory, you mean rape is a wacky theory. You mean the fact that women get pregnant for 9 months and have babies explode out of them is a wacky theory. They don't care about rape or violence. He says it again. It's just a tool to manipulate our emotions and get what they want. You can't even make sense out of that, Jerry. You are an insane motherfucker. And, yeah, we'll say goodbye to you. Insane, you're crazy as most of the atheists on YouTube. Okay, anyway. Sausage for mash. Well, another idiot. The thing is that feminist theory says that the differences that you point out are social constructs. Is that what you subscribe to? So he's now telling me what feminists think, and that feminists think that the fact that men are bigger than women is a social construct. No, what feminists say is that women should have the same liberties. All humans should have liberty to be whatever they want, but there's no feminist literature denying the fact that men are bigger than women. None. So you just made that up, just lying. Let's see, this guy says only some of the differences are social constructs like gender roles. Yeah, well, some gender roles, though, obviously have a biological origin. But obviously we're not tied to biology anymore, and that's the whole point. And yes, men are the big losers in migrating from a biological system, a DNA-controlled system, to something called civilization. That's right, men aren't going to be the big winners in the migration to civilization. Well, I mean, most men are going to be a winner because, yes, in biology it's the alpha males that take it all, essentially. And, and that part of civilization is good for men, okay? It enables them to be scientists and do all kinds of other things except be some sort of caveman and go, ugh, I'm bigger than you. So, yeah, the loser is the jock. And the freaks and the nerds win with civilization. And I say good. Anyway. Pseudoscience, if you ask me, to push an agenda. So the fact that he points out the truth here, he calls that pseudoscience, to push an agenda. Again, another rape denialist. Fuck off, fuckhead. Sullen Angel, another... Oh, no, she's not a dumb man. No, she's a dumb woman. Let's go to the read more thing. You get it. Well, you don't. They don't. But don't you think that guys have to sometimes worry about being used for what they can provide? Well, in the old days that was true, but quite obviously it's not true anymore, okay? I mean, women have gotten their suffrage, so to speak. And in terms of acquisition of wealth and all that kind of shit, they're doing pretty good. And so, yeah, I would argue that's not as big a deal as it used to be. But the bottom line is kids are still expensive, and when guys bail out of relationships because they say, I want a newer model, and they say somehow that I'm single now, that business with that other bitch doesn't count. I don't have to take care of those kids. Yeah, well, that's sort of bullshit, isn't it? That there are plenty of men who fall in love with women only to have their heart broken. Yeah, this is just a sad story you're telling me. Because the woman was only using him for money. Oh, and he didn't go out in his Lamborghini to get exactly that. He went fishing for exactly that kind of woman. He knew he couldn't get the woman unless he did provide some kind of incentive, right? Some sort of, I can take care of you, bitch, because, yeah, okay, I'm ugly and I'm short and I'm stupid and I'm not that interesting and I smell and I fart too much. And so they used money to buy themselves around the fact that they're not too fucking interesting. And then you're going to tell me they're going to be heartbroken because they bought the candy and they ate the candy and it gave them indigestion. I figure that is the problem with most women haters. Yeah, well, that's what you figure. I think the problem with most women haters is the same problem, is that they just want more control. They want to be able to control, and they can't control. They can't make... they can't make themselves attractive, and they're just going to sulk over it. Fundy MRAs and MGTO, whatever that is, anti-feminist. I feel bad for those guys, yes. You feel bad for them, why? Again, these are guys who are basically saying, if a bitch gets raped, it's her fault, and you feel bad for them. They want them to dance naked on the table. They want them to put themselves at gross jeopardy. They want the women to be a good time. And then they don't want the women to complain, though, when one of their buddies rapes her in the closet. It makes it harder for the good women to find men who haven't put up a wall around their hearts. Men don't have hearts, so this right there, you have no clue at all. You really don't. You're really just not getting it. I mean, whatever heart they have is a possessive heart, as we learn all the time, right? Even men who despise their wives, they do not, if their wife has no right, okay, to assert independence and say, I'm moving on, fuckhead, they'll kill her, okay? That's what OJ had it all, and that wasn't enough for him, because his bitch was loose. And he couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand that bitch was loose. His bitch. And, didn't stay tied up. And won't allow deep feelings for a woman to develop. Well, whatever. You have no clue. We all pay the price for wounds caused by assholes using people. We all pay the price. That's the whole point. No, they don't pay the price. They don't get raped. They don't go through the experience of having their sexuality basically raped from existence inside of them, the ability to trust or do any of those things. So as a woman, you apparently don't understand that it's women who are scarred, in horrific ways by the brutality they have to endure and the apprehension that creates inside of the dissonance that creates in their brains, where they say, I want to love, and yet I've been, fucked before. Maybe I'm just too soft on everyone. Maybe you're just too soft in the head. Too much empathy. Yeah, I don't think you have any empathy at all. Okay, I really don't. I think you're just playing the internet, and I wish you would just leave me the fuck alone. So, goodbye to you. I need this in the morning because, okay, blah, blah, blah. Why feminism? It still comes down to examples of the abusive way we treat each other. So again, you won't concede that there are specific things that take place that have specific causes. You're just going to pretend it's all in some blanket called, oh, don't be nasty. I mean, it really just doesn't do, you're not going to solve the problem by not recognizing that some problems are biological, some problems are cultural, and recognize that you have to deal with those in different ways. And that some problems are easy to fix with just a little piece of legislation, and other problems are going to take something more. Oh, man. People are fucking stupid. I won't ban them, but it's just a useless comment. No, I'm gonna. Why feminism? It's just stupid. I mean, why feminism? Oh, because men rape women. Because women get pregnant. That's why. Idiot. I, as a feminist, wow, Inmendham, I've used the feminist word before. Back to Michigan now after a week in New Jersey visiting my... Okay, just saying something about New Jersey. Are you a Benatar fan? What did you think of the second sexism? I didn't read it. From what I've heard, it's just more of this, you know, I'm not a Benatar fan, to tell you the truth. And yeah, he just likes to write controversial tripe from his perspective. I don't think he has too much sincerity behind it. That's why he didn't go on any book tours. But anyway, yeah, look, the argument that men want to be parents, I think, is a silly argument. So I think all this crap about men being screwed in custody battles is bullshit anyway. I think men are, again, just playing the system. They're just keying the bitch's car by trying to take from her the only thing that she thinks is valuable. And so it's all just part of the evil game being played. But the fact that, there's some men are good mothers, I don't think so. So if that's the argument, I think that's the substance of the argument. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Benatar helped his credibility any, I'm sure. But whatever, I haven't read the book, so there's no point in me saying anything about it, I suppose. I'd say his Better Never to Have Been book was a bit of a bore, and was valuable for the asymmetry, but frankly I already knew that argument, and I called it a zero-sum game, which is essentially the same thing as the asymmetry. But whatever. Fuck you people, you're dumb. Alright, so now on to Rorschach. Horseshit. Took down his video, which is, you know, sort of irritating. So it was this video. I don't think it'll play. We can give it a shot, but I don't think I'll get anywhere. Because, yep, video has been removed. So he did this critique of James Young Servant's frequently asked questions, like as if it was supposed to be some sort of literary treatise. But in this crap, a fundamental piece of his argument was, well, why are you looking at evolution, and why are you looking at facts of life to do a commentary on life? You're supposed to assume that God did it or something, right? You can't prove there's no God and that he isn't smarter than us and that he invented the whole thing. So why are you looking at the facts when the real fact is that it doesn't matter how ludicrous it gets. We'll just pretend there's a God and pretend the God has a secret plan that makes it all make sense. So, I mean, and he does that in the context of saying my atheism, which doesn't make any sense because you're obviously not an atheist if you're resorting to the God of the, not even a gap, right? It's not like you're saying there's a gap in evolution. You're saying, no, he just initiated this biological experiment, allowed all the Holocaust, allowed all the fucking brutality through all history, because it's all some sort of plan of his to do something like make super pudgy humans that have, you know, crap commentary tattooed on themselves. I mean, I just, you know, it's just this, well, it was a really bad video, and I guess that's why he took it down, because it was really fucking stupid. And so, unfortunately, I can't really do anything with it because it's gone. And there's no, but that was really the substance of the point. Again, you know, the analogy of gladiator war is basically accurate. we're just caught up in a silly little king of the hill kind of contest, and you just fight with each other, get to the top of the hill, say I win, and then the bell rings and it's round 2, and then round 3, and then round 4. So you get your little moment of victory, you get your little bit of satisfaction, and then you go back to the grind of beating the shit out of each other. You just create blood and victims to have your little warrior moment, your little hero moment, and it's all rot and die in the end. It's all stupid and idiotic. Only ignorant, moron, youthful pukes have kids, generally speaking, and the asswipes who do it later in life are just that. They're just colossally stupid. So they're not just ignorant and just stupid. They believe in cartoon characters as their philosophy. Let's just make shit up. Okay, let's just pretend that God does exist because we can't prove the non-existent of non-existent things. Yeah, I can't prove that Bugs Bunny doesn't run the universe. But I can logically prove it to anybody reasonable. But you're just unreasonable, and so that's the problem. You're an unreasonable, crazy motherfucker rationalizing an idiotic, stupid life because it just hurts your ego too much to admit the truth that you basically do suck, and that everything you pretentiously and elitistly value is just a pile of shit. And you just can't live with that. Like all sports fans. Ugh, disgusting. So anyway, enough said. Yeah, I think I've done my job. I did enough of a job. So fuck it. It really is just dismal, to be honest. In this corner of the moron tube thing. It does get quite discouraging, but then you remember, wait a minute. Yeah, the real world doesn't really... The real world is bad, but it's not this bad. It's not as bad as this shit. These morons on the YouTubes.